this week's drive, we go for a ride in the wide new sky. We'll take the wraps off a racy red Italian. Get a look at the past and the future of the 3 Series. And see what Toyota thinks of the future. All this and more in this week's Drive. We start this week with the McLaren Mercedes team testing their new car at Catalunya. Kimi Räikkönen gave the new MP420 its track debut and was confident of the car's performance, 2 months ahead of the start of a new Formula One season. Last year was a disaster for McLaren with only 1 Grand Prix win and 3 podium finishes all season. Hopes for 2005 rest in the hands of Räikkönen and his new teammate Juan Pablo Montoya, but everyone's facing new rules this year.
Primary changes to the regulations affect 2 things. That is aerodynamics, where round figure 30% of the aerodynamic downforce was lost to the new regulations in our efforts to claw back as much of that as possible. And engine durability, which is now has to span 2 Grand Prix. Of course, you're not just trying to get longevity in the engine, you're trying to maintain its performance, and that's a real technical challenge for our colleagues at Mercedes-Benz.
The MP420 is an updated version of the MP419B, which was used during the second half of last year, the car which won Kimi the Belgian Grand Prix.
The expectation here for the Barcelona test is not great, because the circuit's been resurfaced. That will mean lower lap times, or in fact, less grip. And our primary goal is to optimise the car and get it reliable and balanced within the limitations of the circuit.
But I think, I think from the looks, it looks really amazing. I've been driving the car in about 3 days, so it'll be interesting to see what Kimi's got to say to it. But, so far so good. I got to say, the car, looking at it, and the detail of the car is unbelievable. I've been the last 4 years, I was in a different team, and coming here with that extra knowledge, I think it can give us a little bit of an upper hand.
McLaren, once a regular World Championship winner, finished a lowly 5th in last season's Constructors' Championship, behind the likes of BAR, Renault and Williams. Aiming to change that, the team's designers and their engine suppliers Mercedes-Benz have had a busy winter working to meet the new specifications. There's a strong belief that this car has the potential to threaten Ferrari, and so McLaren are predicting exciting times in 05. The major problem with the McLaren last year was reliability, and Räikkönen accepts that this still remains the greatest hurdle to overcome.
So we changed last year's car a little bit to suit this year's regularities, and I think so we're doing quite well. We have done lots of tire testing, some new parts has been tested already, so it's getting there. But of course, with the new car, you need to work on the reliability and on the speed, and that's where we put our most effort.
Räikkönen gave the initial thumbs up, but with many hours of testing left, it's too early yet to tell how competitive the MP420 will be.
Of course, whilst we've been working hard, there are 9 other teams who are very well funded, well structured and stable, and they've got the same expectations. So winning in Formula One has never been more difficult, more challenging, but we expect to be competing to win races, and we're here to win championships. That's what McLaren is about.
McLaren's quiet optimism will be tested on the 6th of March when the season starts with the Australian Grand Prix. Most concept cars are designed to test public reaction to new ideas. General Motors have tried producing a car by asking what their customers wanted.
Sky is designed as an authentic roadster in both form and function. For example, the manual top folds completely into the rear compartment, and the hood opens in a clamshell fashion. The Sky Roadster has a strong gesture, a wide, muscular stance with short overhangs, and 18-inch wheels pushed right to the corners. Bold new style is what it's all about, and I think this whole new face and look of Saturn is what'll distinguish itself and get it back top of mind again.
GM's research suggested younger drivers want a traditional convertible but with more practicality. So the Sky converts from a 2 to a 4-seater, the rear seats stowing away under the tonneau cover when not in use. The instruments are in the centre of the vehicle, visible to every passenger, and the headrest are arches rather than solid designs, so conversation is easier. An innovative multi-piece lift-off roof is made of a translucent material that darkens the sunlight inside the vehicle and stows in the boot. The headlights and taillights use LED technology configured in cubes and are smaller, lighter and require less voltage than conventional lamps. Even the badges on the grille and the front doors glow red. They call it the living badge.
Team Dodge, headed.
The Dodge Charger, one of the biggest names of the muscle car era, powered its way out of its storied past and onto the stage. The legendary Dodge Charger of the 1960s was a coupe, not a family-friendly, albeit extremely macho, sedan. Chrysler will make a NASCAR version of the Charger to stoke the hype, and the showroom cars will have performance credibility thanks to the engineering shared with Mercedes-Benz and powerful motors. A 250 horsepower V6 and a 340 horsepower Hemi V8.
Dodge Cars is coming back. We have fantastic history, heritage with the Charger and the name. And even though we clearly did not plan to do a retro car, and you can see that this is a cutting-edge modern technology, modern-looking car, we wanted to build on some of the cues, the muscle, the mean look, the sneer in the face of the Charger, and at least to my taste, we succeeded pretty well. We'll listen to the customers.
The engine's multiple displacement system deactivates 4 of the 8 cylinders when full power is not needed, but this only improves fuel economy by up to 20%. Standard features like electronic stability program helps maintain directional stability in adverse driving conditions, constantly comparing the intended course with the vehicle's actual course and compensating for any difference. Technology borrowed from Mercedes brings the Charger up to modern standards. Richard Petty won more races than any other Charger driver and welcomes the icon's return.
I guess I'm a little prejudiced to the Charger name. You know, they've had a bunch of different names since then, but I didn't think it was a race car, I guess. So we're looking forward to going. They've done a lot of testing. The car seems to be working really good, and now we've got to go out and prove it.
The all-new Charger features rear-wheel drive with near-ideal 50-50 weight distribution and rides on 18-inch wheels. It should be on sale by mid-year. Here's another icon that's recognized all around the world. It's known as a double kidney, but BMW's famous grille has changed a great deal over the years. The German carmaker's most popular model range is the 3 Series, now in continuous production for over 35 years. Here we have 3 versions built between 1975 and 1983, including the convertible made by Stuttgart coach builders Bauer, with the factory's approval in 1978. 4- and 6-cylinder engines of between 1.6 and 2.3 litres were available. Originally only built with 2 doors, a 4-door version went on sale in 1983. This German market TV commercial for the first generation of the 3 Series was made in about 1978. Haven't things changed? In those days, there were no curbs on showing cars being driven hard and fast. There were no computer-generated graphics, just talented drivers pushing cars hard for the camera. Look at that body roll! Six years later, things were a little more sedate for TV commercials for the second generation, now offering 2- and 4-door bodies, minor improvements to the engines, but a much better rear suspension to improve road holding. By the late 90s, the 3 Series was offered in a dizzyingly broad spread of models, including 2- and 4-doors, as a hatch, a cabrio and a wagon, with 4-wheel drive and with petrol or diesel engines displacing between 1.8 and 3.3 litres. By the 4th generation, BMW had moved its entry-level model upmarket, both in technology and price. So much so that a whole new entry-level model, the 1 Series, was on the drawing board. BMW originally built aircraft engines, which is why their badge is a stylized propeller. But now, BMW are about to reveal the 5th generation of the 3 Series. It's a bit bigger than previous models and boasts many class-leading safety and performance technologies to assist drivers in a variety of ways.
The new 3 Series has grown quite a bit larger. One could say it's grown up compared to its predecessor. It's more spacious and also offers considerably more safety. We've stiffened the bodywork, which means better handling and also better protection for the occupants. Handling is of course the main feature of a BMW, and we've provided the new 3 Series with a new front and rear suspension. It's the first car in its class with active steering, and we've also given it a lightweight straight-six engine to improve the handling. The engine has Valvetronic and a crankcase made of magnesium alloy. As you can see, a whole lot of improvements in the interests of driving pleasure.
But the new car also had to be obviously and clearly identifiable as a BMW.
First of all, the new 3 Series has the classic proportions of a sporty BMW saloon. The short front overhang, the long bonnet so that the A-pillar is set well back, and the glasshouse also extends well to the rear. Like a coupe, but powerful, modern, good, no-nonsense design. These are the classic features of a BMW saloon, and particularly the 3 Series.
Being a member of the family is important too.
With the new design language from BMW, we've given a chance for every car to find its place and still be part of a harmonious family. One look, but yet with individual characteristics, like you'd expect from a family. So with the Z4 at one end of the family with a lot of surface excitement, and the 1 Series next to it, up until the 6 Series and the 7 Series with their really stately, dynamic elegance of presence, we found the niche for the 3 Series really between them. It's got a 5 Series, which is a little bit larger, a little bit more present, and it has a 1 Series beneath it, which has a little bit more of that surface excitement that we know from a Z4. It's that combination, that balance between classic proportions and really dynamic surfaces that makes the 3 Series right at home in the family. When you walk up to the 3 Series, the car really communicates sportiness and a luxury lifestyle of a premium vehicle, like you'd expect from a BMW. And so to open the door, that's really to see that interpreted again in the interior. The use of the horizontal division of the lines and the colors in the car, that gives it the accent of horizontalness, large space inside, but at the same time, the swing of the instrument panel, which wraps around the driver just enough so that you remember that from its predecessor, that exaggerates the sportiness of the car. And that combination, the sportiness and this rather calm interior of a premium car, that's a combination that really says 3 Series. I think anytime you're working with a BMW, you're working with an icon. But still, perhaps the 3 Series is the most special of them all. It really is the car that we take to our hearts as the ultimate BMW in terms of its design. So, to begin its successor, we started with everything that the predecessor gave us to begin with. A really great stance, a fantastic gesture on the road, and of course, classic surfaces. And those we took just one step further. We kept the gesture, give it a little bit more wheelbase, that stretches it out a bit. We gave the silhouette a little bit more stretch with this really long hood. And then we took the surface language and modernized it in the new family. And all of that together, that creates that balance that one expects from really a new interpretation of an icon.
BMW's active steering system combines a regular rack and pinion gear, still with mechanical link between steering wheel and the front wheels, with a planetary gear and an electric motor. It modifies steering input required from the driver at low speed to make parking easier, but retreats at high speed to give maximum feel and fine control. In case of a system failure, the electric motor will be locked out, bypassing the system, and the car can be driven normally. Hill Holder Assist is another feature to make driving easier. It allows the driver to set off on a slope without using the handbrake. The system holds the pedal pressure applied by the driver to keep the vehicle stationary for about 1.5 seconds. The brake pressure is reduced as soon as the engine power sufficient to accelerate the car is applied. Soft stop reduces the jolt of an abrupt halt. While a skilled driver avoids this by reducing brake pressure just before coming to a halt, The new 3 Series does this automatically, reducing brake pressure under slight pedal effort until the car has stopped completely. In addition, the rain brake support function improves braking response in the wet. When driving in the rain, splashed water leaves a film of moisture on brake discs. Experienced drivers will lightly apply the brakes to generate some heat and dry the discs. Now, BMW does this automatically in response to a signal from the wipers. The pressure applied is so low that the driver won't even feel it. Stability control corrects potential slides. Traction control helps keep the car stable. But only by turning off these driver aids do we see their effectiveness. Another feature ensures that the brakes don't fade when they're applied for long periods, such as long, steep hills. No matter how hot they get, the fading compensation builds up extra pressure, and there are many more clever bits on the new 3 Series. It could be straight out of a science fiction movie, but this is what Japan's largest car maker foresees in the future of cars. Toyota has shown far-distant concept vehicles intended to provide a form of personal mobility that seeks to attain a greater balance. The open, leaf-like I-Unit vehicle uses environmentally friendly plant-based materials. The single-passenger vehicle is equipped with intelligent transport system technologies that allow for safe autopilot driving in specially equipped lanes. The model allows the user to make tight, on-the-spot turns, move upright amongst other people at low speeds, and can easily be switched into a reclining position at higher speeds. Body colors can be customized to suit individual preferences, and a personal recognition system offers both information and music. The egg-shaped iFoot is a 2-legged mountable robot-like device that cocoons the rider and can go upstairs. It's controlled with a joystick. Standing at a height of well over 7 feet, the unit can walk along at a speed of about 1.35 kilometers an hour and navigate staircases into the bargain. Toyota's prototypes represent the latest incarnation of wearable exoskeletons in a form that is specially focused on transport. Powered robotic exoskeletons have been the focus of US military research over the years, and Japan seems to have jumped onto the bandwagon with a wave of products being developed for specific applications. While Toyota's prototypes are geared towards mass transport, the company says that the vehicles will allow the elderly and the disabled to achieve independent mobility.
From its founding concepts, both cars and robots are the same because they are made to help humankind and to be user-friendly. And robotics is all about mobility too, as with cars. So there's compatible technology there, and the research in both fields interacts with the other.
The robotic vehicles were the stars of an entertaining show at Expo 2005, based on the theme, The Joy, Dream and Inspiration of Mobility in the 21st Century, which introduced the concepts of mobility in harmony with the Earth and achieving the dream and joy of worldwide movement, in a presentation of possibilities for a bright and fulfilling future. As always with concept vehicles, it's difficult to see who they would appeal to and what their role would be in the personal transport marketplace. Recently, we showed you the all-new 1200cc Corsaro from Italian boutique bike builder Moto Morini. The second example of the new generation of Morini is the 9.5, an attempt to link the past and the present. Probably Morini's best-known model was the 3.5, which was the 350. 30 years on, a surprising number of the dinky, fine-handling 3.5s still roam the roads of the world. However, the modern bike is very different, and technically it's a 998, not a 950. Unlike the 1200 Corsaro, the bike seen here is a concept, although it looks very production-ready, and the factory describes it as a concrete step towards a project that will eventually be a whole range. The 9.5 is equipped with an 87-degree V-twin engine which develops 105 horsepower at 9,000 RPM. Designed by Franco Lambertini, the fuel-injected engine is the heart of the bike and contains several innovations which promise excellent performance. It has a 6-speed gearbox and chain final drive. one point the factory is keen to make clear. They use 100% Italian componentry, so what they don't make themselves comes from other Italian suppliers. It's a bike Marini hopes will be appreciated for its style and riding comfort, and that goes for longer distances too, but that can also pack the emotion of a powerful, reliable twin-cylinder engine. The 9.5 has no fairing, so its inside is also its outside. This means the working parts need to be attractive as well as functional. Typically Italian, it looks as good standing still as it will feel to ride. The 9.5 is scheduled to go into production at the end of 2005 and will carry a price tag of under €11,000. Traffic, congestion, pollution, they seem to go hand in hand. But recently a band of Mexican and American ecologists toured Mexico City visiting taco stands and sushi bars to refuel an old school bus with waste cooking oil that will power the next leg of a green awareness tour from California to Costa Rica. The bus, which ran on avocado oil during a week-long drive down from the US border, is being used to prove that vehicles can run on recycled fuels that pollute less than petrol, as it chugs around oil refineries, factories and eateries collecting vegetable oil. The eye-catching 1974 white bus is loaded with tanks that can carry 350 gallons of oil. Its diesel engine has been modified to run on the more viscous food oil, which involved installing a heating element to keep the fat flowing freely so it doesn't clog the engine's plumbing. The conversion cost about $400, much cheaper than converting to hydrogen fuel cells or hybrid technology. Before loading up on the used cooking oil, there's a check for particulate materials which cannot be used in the engine. The EcoBus is also fitted with a separate tank that carries a refined biodiesel product that permits easy starting. The biodiesel gets the engine hot, and then, at the flip of a switch, 100% used vegetable oil is fed into the motor. Members of the caravan are sustainability experts, eco-technologists, farmers, mechanics and others dedicated to educating the public about alternatives to fossil fuels. The group also promotes earth-friendly farming, which will be critical if the fuels of the future are to be grown rather than mined.
It went well in this restaurant. They have a lot of oil to cook their food, and to them it's unusable. We just filter it in order to clean the food leftovers. Then we fill our bus tanks, and we have a lot cleaner fuel than the usual stuff.
I'm not going to breathe all day long, but it's just a lot less toxic than a diesel engine.
Vegetable oil is carbon neutral. When burned, it releases the same amount of carbon as the original plant consumed.
That's it. Pure vegetable oil. It smells like tempura. That's great.
Yeah, we're going pretty far.
Headed for Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua and Costa Rica, the bus left San Francisco with 150 gallons of waste oil from local Chinese and taco restaurants. Next, they filled up with used frying oil, still hot, from a Mexican restaurant in Arizona, and a load of avocado oil from a refinery in Mexico.
This is a 95-gallon tank, so it'll get us about nearly, 800 miles?
The group, who note that the diesel engine was actually invented to run on peanut oil, hopes to take its Sustainable Solutions caravan tour to Europe in 2005. So, whether you're sliding a Big Mac, getting out in your new car, or just crystal ball gazing, so you stay on track and up to speed, make sure you catch next week's Drive.